be pushed out of the call once it starts. So
This call is now being recorded.
okay, so they should just rejoin. Okay, they should just rejoin. All right. So here we are again. Okay, so how many of you were in the first session we had last week? I think that was the introductory session. My goodness, what a network. I don't know you were in the first session that we had last week.
I was there, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much for your response. So that means you are set to have us move tonight, right? Um, I already, should I say, created a link for that particular lecture. Okay, I'm not so sure it was completed. Yeah, it was completed. So that means I'm still looking for the best way to share links for certain lectures, but so that I can reduce the consumption of space. But let's see how far how far that goes. All right. Good evening once again. Thank you for joining this course. We'll get to see what it's about and how we can take advantage of the learnings from here and apply to our daily activities, our daily lives, and our businesses as well. Okay. The course title is BSAQ201, and the course code rather is a title, and the title is business policy. Actually, the full title is business policy and strategic management, not just business policy. There are quite a number of people who are supposed to be on this call that have not joined. Yesterday in the BSAQ 301 class, we had over 50 in attendance. Someone said they can't hear me. Confirm that you can hear me, everybody.
I can hear you, sir.
We
We
can
can
hear
hear
you
you,
loud and
sir.
clear.
Can hear you,
We can
sir.
hear you, sir.
We can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. So the person will have to log off and go off and come on again.
So I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so um let's dive in, right? Yeah. So I want to use this model to construct my introduction to introduce you to the course. You did business environments. But those of you who joined us from 100 level, you did business environments. Okay, that's actually like the background. When you look at this model shown on your screen, you find that there's a background. There's a background. Oh, good, thank you. There's a background showing. It's a background within which all the other things happen. Okay, the background here is the business environment. So that's why an integral part of this course is for you to have an understanding of business environments, what they are, what the components, what they comprise of, what you can find there. Okay, yeah. So and what the environment produces. The environment gives the outcome of the business environment are four different things rather: opportunities and threats on one hand, and on the other hand, it reveals your strengths and your weaknesses. So it's from the environment that you find. Someone should please share the link on the group. Okay, it's from the environment that you have opportunities and threats that make you form objectives, something you want to do or achieve, to either take advantage of the opportunities or dodge the threats, mitigate yourself of the threats. Okay, so that's why on my right hand here you find number one, the first thing that you do with with opportunities and threats, considering your strengths and weaknesses, will be to form an objective. What can you make out of this lemon? Can you make lemonade? So if life gives you lemon, make lemonade out of it. That's exactly what we're talking about. So before we jump in, we're supposed to look at good. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to look at business environments from two perspectives, the external environment and the internal environment. We're going to touch that again because these are the basis of strategy and strategic management. External and then the internal environment. And then in the external environment, we're going to be looking at the ones that you have, that your business has direct contact with, and then the parts that is general, yet are very, very influential to the success or failure of every business. Okay, good. So I said, if life gives you lemon, what do? You make lemonade out of it. So when business environment gives you a threat, from that threat you have to set up an objective on how to dodge that threat or how you can profit from that threat, how you can turn that threat into an opportunity. All the same, the first thing that you do is to derive objectives. So we'll be going discussing extensively on business objectives, different levels of objectives, how objectives are set, how objectives are okay come about, and so on and so forth. From this diagram, you can just see that there are four levels of objectives, of business objectives already, which have been broken down into the mission, the vision, then the breakdown objectives, and then the goals. So these are one of the things we'll be discussing in this course. I think that should be in the second lecture. Now, after you have set up your objectives, that is your what. What do you want to achieve? The next thing is to decide on how. How are you going to achieve those things? What are the action steps? What are the actions? Because you're also considering that given your strengths and weaknesses, I hope you're with me. There might be some things that you may not have, there might be constraints, there might be limitations that may prevent you from achieving the objectives that you have seen. Remember that those objectives are derived from the opportunities that you find in the environment. Okay? Yes. So strategy helps you to now get up a plan, not just any plan, a plan that considers all the all the issues in the environment, all the issues, especially the issues that are going to be threats to you because you've already started the opportunity, right? So all the issues, like you remember when we had the lockdown over the world, and then in Nigeria also where we had the cashless, where we had compulsory change of naira notes. Okay, you see what happened. Some new businesses saw that as an opportunity. Some others saw it as a threat. Okay, some others saw it as a threat. Thank you. Some others saw it as a threat, but some saw it as an opportunity. Companies like Money Point and OPay, that was their blow, right? But they would have considered a whole lot of factors. So all of those things are the things that we'll be discussing under strategy. Okay. Yes. So the third thing we'll be discussing in this call will be policies. This course is titled after policy, but I think it's more than that. I think it's beyond that. Okay. So the third thing we'll be discussing will be policies. So we have number one, business objective. Number two, strategy. Number three, policies. Policies are basically guidelines, while strategies are the actions, but policies are guidelines. So you see the arrow is tracing back again from A to B to C. Now, as I say, policies and procedures help you to make sure that your strategies are implemented according to plan. And then once these are done, they're going to lead to the achievement of objectives. I'm getting a reverb on, so I may have to mute one of you. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So the mic has been muted, and then I can go on from here, right? So if I just put this image and say explain this model, what will you see? Can you hear me? If I say
We can hear you, sir.
good, so if I just put this model and say explain this model, what will you say? You understand the model I just explained, right? This is almost like the first part of the course. This model you are seeing, right? So you see that there are 4 lectures in this model. There are 4 lectures in this model. Are you with me? So if I ask you to explain this model, maybe that will be your assignment. One of the assignment. Explain the model in the diagram. Background. So what will you say? Let me hear somebody talk. If I've said anything that makes sense, let me hear somebody say something.
Ah,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Good
I think
evening.
it's I think it's all about the business environment. Talking about internal and external factors that affect the business environment.
Say all about. You cannot say it's all about. This environment is just on the background of the things that are on the forefront, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you mostly talked about when a business is suffering, it's having issues, like when you said making a lemonade out of lemons, and you spoke about in strategy you need to have a vision, and the vision needs to have objectives, goals, and I think that's what I understand. And again, you said it needs to be policies to enable your strategy when you're facing difficulties in business.
Another answer. Any other one?
Yeah, good evening, sir. So, from where I joined, you talked about the challenges and what we make of the challenges. That's when you gave instance of Money Point and OP, where they used the lockdown pandemic as a breaking ground. Other businesses took it as a challenge, but they took it as an opportunity. So this diagram explains about the challenges is that is posed in the business environment and how each and every business organization react to it. That they take it as an opportunity or as a challenge.
Thank you very much,
Okay, sir.
everybody. You've all done
You also
well. Okay, let me take
you
one
also
more. Go on.
okay. You also talked about the arrow. You said if you watch closely, we are going to see that the arrow is a two-sided stuff. We can see that 3, 2, 1, and also we can see A, B, C, showing that it is a two-way arrow.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Okay, so now I can go over it again with one stone, and then you get the full picture, right? Yeah. So I said, right, this course continues from business environment, a topic that you have in BSAQ 101. For those of you who are joining us in this level, it simply means that you may just have to imagine it, okay? Because we're going to be discussing the business environment afresh. So the whole thing, everything begins from the environment, which in this case is called the business environment. And when you say business environment, you are referring to a wide range of spectrum, a wide range of things. And we have four things that come out of these environments: opportunities, threats, and then your strengths and your weaknesses as a business. Not as it could be as a person if you're looking at it from the personal of a person's perspective. So that's the first thing I said. Okay. So your strengths refer to the resources that you have to confront what you can see on the other side. On the other side, you have opportunities and threats, while your strengths refer to the resources that you have to be able to, you know, confront opportunities or threats. Your weaknesses refers to the resources that you don't have, the resources or advantages that you don't have, or we don't have to respond to opportunities and to threats. Okay, so that was where I give advantage of the likes of Money Point and Co, because for them the nation was seeing a threat, many businesses were seeing threats, but then that environment gave them an opportunity, right? So in every sense, you have to respond to opportunities and threats as a business, even as a person. And in order to respond to opportunities and threats, the first thing you do is to come up with objectives. The first thing to do. First thing to do is to come up with objectives. That's why you see we have number one here. Number one here is what? Business objectives. Maybe I may just update this diagram, okay, so that it captures these things I'm talking about. Business objectives. So I said in this course we're going to be discussing extensively on business objectives. Okay, if you have skimmed through the notes down, then you will see a particular lecture on business objectives where we looked at different. Excuse me, please. All right. So we'll discuss extensively. We look at business objectives from at four levels. Four levels. Mind this word, levels, because I asked this question in the assignment from two semesters ago, and even the last one, and I was getting answers from where I did not see, even after where I did not solicit for, even after I had encouraged you to make sure you use my notes or your courseware for your assignments. So we'll be discussing business objectives. Your objective might be to take advantage of an opportunity or to escape threats. But anyhow, there has to be an objective. That's number one. What? Then the second step is going to be you deciding how, setting up your how, setting up plans on how you want to achieve those objectives. That's where strategy comes to play. Strategy, we also study about strategy, strategic management to be specific, but we'll be digging a little bit deeper to see how strategy differs rather from an ordinary plan. I plan to do this. That's not strategy. When you say I plan to do this, you now consider. Okay, so a typical example to what I'm saying now could be this. Okay, I'm currently working somewhere and I have I have a secondary school degree, but I'm a secondary school leaver. I'm a secondary school leaver. I have an OSAT, O level SAT, yeah. But I need to get a degree. Why do I need to get a degree? The environment shows that getting a degree might give me an opportunity for probably a better job or a promotion in my current place of work, or knowledge that I can apply in my business if I'm a businessman, or influence or anything. So you see, the environment is showing you something. So you now set up an objective. Objective, get a degree. So now, how do I get a degree? You now start considering, what should I do? Should I take jump and go to a conventional university, or should I go to Ahmadu Bello University distance learning program? Okay, what will be the constraints? I need to consider many factors before making this choice and even implementing it. So now we are at number two. We're talking about strategy now. So your strategy now should be: number one, you have to consider school fees, you have to consider lectures and how you have to continue your business on your work while you are able to raise money to pay for these things. You have to consider if you're a family person, a family, and how you're also going to, create time for that, those lectures. You also have to consider how you may be required to change locations during examinations. Okay, many things. You have to also consider whether you need to have a laptop or just your phone will do, or a tablet. Okay, all of these considerations, they are what's now making you as in they are the things that are surrounding whatever plan you're coming up with. That is truly a strategy, because strategy is a plan that considers all the opposing factors, looking at the available resources. Okay, good. So you have done this, and then you've already known that, okay, there will be lectures to attend. Now, let's move on to number three. How do I ensure that all these plans are properly implemented? Will I just come and say, "Wow, I'm tired today. I'm not going to attend lectures. Wow, I'm tired today. I'm not going to do my assignment. The assignment date is getting closer. Don't worry, I'll do it last. You start giving yourself excuses. Are you getting what I'm saying now? Oh, you've paid the school fees, fine. But what about your lectures? What about your other things that you need to do to make sure that you get good grades, you do your assignments on time? You now say, okay, for this, I need to set guidelines. And the guidelines will be this. Number one, I must attend I must attend my lectures as when due, no matter how tired I am. Number two, I must submit all my assignments at least a week, at latest a week to the submission date. Step guideline number three, I must make sure I spend at least 1 hour every day just to read anything, any course at all. Okay. So you see, these ones now are not the actions, but they are the guidelines that can help you make sure that those actions are carried out as planned. That's what policies do for you. Now, where this even is more applicable in businesses is that the owners of the businesses may not even be the ones to carry out the strategy. For instance, um, a UBA, everybody knows Tony Elumelu to be one of the CEO of is it the CEO now or president of UBA Africa, UBA, right? So, but Tony Elumelu is not the one in Zaria branch, but it's expected that Zaria branch executes whatever strategies that Tony Elumelu and the board of directors have come up with at their own level. It's expected that they operate and make the decisions within certain boundaries. All those boundaries are spelled out under policies. So when policies are properly formulated and implemented, they help see the arrow is this now that the arrow is moving back now from A back to B, they help the implementation of strategic decisions. And when strategic decisions are properly implemented, they help the achievement of objectives. C. Full stop. Good. So let's quickly do a review of what we discussed on business environment. Okay, that will be the next thing that we need to review. Let's just look at the notes from the top so that we'll see a few things that you might, so I don't miss out on anything. I said in business or any serious venture or endeavor, the first thing you want to consider is what you intend to achieve. Okay, or what you intend to fulfill. That's what objective through its course. Okay, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to fulfill? Good. So that's what we broke down now into the purpose. What's the purpose of that thing? So you see, mission is usually the first thing you meet. The purpose. Why do I want to enroll? Why do I want to start a bakery? I want to make sure this community has bread to eat. They don't have to travel far to get bread. Okay. Why? That's your mission. Okay. Then your vision. We'll talk about this. Let me not just spend enough time here. Then, okay. Then the next thing to consider is all the factors that exist for you and against you. Actually, this would have been the first thing. But all the same, I've not adjusted this part. But anyway, your plans and your strategies are the next thing. Everything I explained just now, that's what you have here. Down to policy. I said the model explains the whole concept, right? So what is a model? When you check past questions, you will see this question a lot. So you have to know, get simple ways to define what a model is, right? A model is a simplified description of a system or a process to assist predictions. Okay, if you want to ask about past questions, this same note is where past questions are. Just scroll to the bottom, you see past questions up to last 2 semesters. Okay, so a model is a simplified description of a system or a process to assist predictions. Okay, it's usually a graphical representation that shows concepts and how they are related. Okay, like in that model, we saw concepts like objective, we saw concept like strategy and policies. We now see how they are related. What's the business? What businesses? What business do objectives have with strategy? You can see the relationship from the diagram by the numbers 1, 2, 3, and then by the alphabet ABC as well. Okay, so that's this line now. I said so in it you find objective setting as number 1, determining strategies as number 2, formulating policies as number 3. Then I said, however, objectives are set over opportunities and threats that come out of the environment. That is to say, opportunities and threats from the environment come before objectives, they precede objectives, right? That's what that means. Then the process moves from using policies A to ensure the accurate implementation of strategies B, right? Towards the achievement of C. So that's it. So what we'll do in this course, we'll discuss, I said it again, I'm saying it again now, I've just been around one place, all of these things, one after the other, okay? Yeah, so the course is titled Business Policy. Some people call it Strategic Management, others call it Business Policy and Strategic Management, which is actually what I like to call it so that you will know that you actually started doing strategic management. Okay, so this is how we're going to roll. We're going to move from, in our next class, we'll start by discussing intensively business objectives. Then we'll talk about strategies in the class following. After that, we'll talk about policies. Before we now enter the heart of the course. The heart of the course is the part that is called environmental analysis. So with this, we should have been done with study sessions 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then the last study session, the third study session. Okay, we will now discuss the last parts, the issues around business ethics and social responsibility of business. Full stop. So that is the introduction of the course. So in this class, we're going to discuss, we're going to review business environments. Okay, so from here you can see business environment refers to everything not just our physical environment, because we usually, while growing up, we want to see environment as the physical surrounding around us. No, it's beyond that. Any factor, put it that way, any factor anywhere in this world that can affect the outcome of your business is considered a component of what, of your business environment. So it could be external or it could be internal. External means it's outside your business and therefore it's outside the control of your business. Then it could be internal, that means it's within your business control, your business issues and your business walls. So let's start by looking at the outside external environment. Why? Because that's where you have the opportunities and the threats. Okay, good. So in the external, they are broken down into two different major groups. The first group is the one you interact with. Your business has day-to-day interaction with, or not necessarily today, but a physical interaction, because you have interaction with your customers, right? Your suppliers, your shareholders, competitors, your communities, your employees, name them, and every other thing. Okay, whether they are within your locality or in the international environment. That's why we also have this point C here. Okay, good. So we have all of this. One thing I also want to explain here is that your shareholders, in the eye of the law, are considered as external. That's because the law, there's something called legal entity concept or separate legal entity concept in accounting, which is used to recognize businesses. That's why Tony Elumelu is different from UBA. And to even make it serious, Aliko Dangote is different from, is not the same person in the eye of the law as Dangote group of companies. I hope you're getting my point, right? Good. So that's why I say shareholders are external. Okay. So these are the things we might just take a little bit of a look at. Let's see if we have some things to say about those ones. Okay. So your competitors, we're talking about what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their market share, what are their tendencies, what are their reactions, your customers, what are their preferences, and so on and so forth. Suppliers, shareholders, all those explanations that you need to do. Then we come back again, we look at the indirect, which is the external. If you have a question, okay, let me pause here and take questions. Buhari Abdulhamid, you're raising your hand. Is it intentional or by mistake? Buhari Abdulhamid, you have a question or you're
Can
raising
you
your
hear
hand?
me?
I can hear you now.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Sir?
Thank you. I
Okay.
can.
Talking about the external and internal factor that. Hello?
Go on,
Hello?
please.
Yes,
Go
it's
on. Go on.
concerning this external factor.
Mm.
You make mention of Tony Elumelu and UBA and also Dangote Group and the Dangote himself.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you can clarify more. I was a bit cut
Okay,
off.
okay. Let me break it down. Let
Yes,
me
sir.
explain.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that. Okay. So I said shareholders are external parties in the eye of the law. Okay. If you have a business and you have registered that business, which you're supposed to register, the business has, that's why you see now you have to give your business a name, which means in the eye of the law, your business and you are two different people. Business and you are two different people. That's why I said Dangote is a different person, while Dangote group of companies is also another person in the eye of the law. This is how it is in the law. Okay, that's why accounting we say when you put money in your business, accounting to the business is a liability. The business seems to be owing you, although they won't want to call it loan, they'll call it equity or capital or something else. Okay, so this is just how it is. Well, I hope you understand this explanation I made now. Now the reason I have to break it down like this is because some people might be expecting to see shareholders inside internal environment, okay, listed among internal environmental components, but shareholders are external environmental components. I hope that's clear now. Okay, so in my own issues can come up, and Dangote can even sue Dangote group of companies. I mean, that's what I just said. But because this company itself is not just, it's a different entity from Dangote as a person. It has its own properties. Dangote has its own properties, even though one of its properties include the stake that he has in the company. So that's the explanation I have for that. I hope that's clear. Hello.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope,
Yes, sir. Understood, sir. Understood.
all right. Thank you very much. So the other part of the external environment is the type where, okay, sorry about that. The other part of the external environment is the part where sorry, let me just tell this brother that I'm in lecture. I'll get back to you. All right, so so the other part of the external environment refers to um they call it indirect, but it's there, it's actually there. You can feel it. All over Nigeria now can feel the political component. You can even feel the economic component. You can feel the sociocultural component. Everybody in the world can feel the technological component. Nigerians now can even feel everything. Okay. So the acronym PESTLE, 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 P stands for the political environment, E stands for the economic environment, S stands for the sociocultural environment, and so on and so forth. So E stands for the ecological environment. Let's look at a few notes about those things here. So when we say the political environment, there are a few things you can consider. What the system of government practice here? What the ruling party? What are their policies? Okay, we are all talking about the political environment now. What are the administrative subdivisions? We have in this country, we have three tiers of government, three levels of government, right? And then we also have three arms of government at each level. We have the executive, judiciary, and what now? Legislature. Meanwhile, these exist from supposed to exist rather from federal to state. These are all considerations because these things determine what decisions are made and definitely how businesses are affected. Number two, the economic environment. We have factors like what economic system is practiced here. Okay, is the economy healthy? What is the state of the economy as a whole? What can you say as a Nigerian now is the current state of the economy? Or what can you say about inflation, deflation, all these economic things, right? GDP, balance of payments. Okay. Now we look at the sociocultural. Sociocultural. I want to say sociocultural. We're looking at everything from demographics in terms of distribution distribution of the people across genders, number of males, number of females, number of old people, number of young people, okay, number of children, number of okay, married people, all those things. What are their beliefs? Okay, what are their religious practices? Okay, how do they resolve issues? What are their norms? What are their values? Okay, yeah. So so we have all of these under sociocultural environment, and they are part of the environmental components that you have to consider. Okay, so technological environment. I said here, technology is the sum total of knowledge about a given process. Knowledge that we have about a given process. I was giving an example yesterday in the class for BSAQ201 about what technology is, and I used example of groundnut. Some of you like, I'm not sure you like groundnut, yeah. You like eating roasted groundnut, right? That time in those there's a technology that we used to make use of in those days where you get sharp sand. Some people still use it. Some use ash, some use ash, some use sharp sand. Then they put the sharp sand on the fire and then put the granite inside after they washed and prepared it. And then they keep stirring with the what do they call it now? Is the plastic or wooden handled whatever. Keep stirring and stirring and stirring until the granite gets done. That is the technology. That is granite roasting technology. Today, the one I've seen now, just put it in a tray and put it in the oven and close the oven and go and rest. Technology. So all the knowledge that we have before a letter now is text messages, email addresses, whether they are used in production, the facilities and the devices, the expertise, the information, okay, transportation, all those things. They are serious matters. Okay, these have affected a lot of banks over the years. These are the things that through banks like GT Bank from a new bank to one of the first generation, one of the banks that topped the nation. At a point, they were using plenty technological things, and others fathers then will say, "You must have a first bank account. You must have it. If not, I will not send you money." But they say that bank is children's bank. Let's do business with serious bank. Are you getting what I'm saying? So at a point now, 20 years later, those children that they have become the fathers of the day, right? So you see how this bank grew. And now, due to another kind of technology, we have another set of players now who pay and money points and the likes of them. And those guys also need to, I mean, those former guys need to do something about it. That's how technology can either put you in business or throw you out of business. So technology poses both opportunities and threats, and they make it in such a way that your business it has to be dynamic. You have to be able to move fast. All right, we have the legal aspects. Okay, what are the systems of laws governing issues around business registration, issues around taxes, issues around taking loans and interest of low interest rates from the way government has set them, issues around employing people and having contracts. Okay, those are considerations. Agencies that the government has set in place to enforce laws, like the CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission, NAFDAC, okay, National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, SON, MAN, and the rest of them. And finally, under this macro space, we have the ecological environment. Ecological environment. We're talking about the biological state, life, the things that make sure that there is life. Okay, now people are clamoring. Bill Gates and his people are clamoring for climate change, spending money to change, spending billions of dollars to sensitize people to believe their climate change agenda. But they have a hidden agenda behind it anyway. But that's not the cost. That's not what we're discussing here anyway. So that's why we have COVID. That's a biological issue because it's affecting lives. Okay, other issues around water pollution, oil spillage, air pollution, things that will affect life generally. So that's that about the external component as is broken down into two, right? So the other part that you want to look at now is inside. You want to see what you have, your strengths, your weaknesses. There are many things to add here, but I just added four. Your resources are number one. So your resources have been broken down into several M's: management, manpower, money, materials, machines, and methods. Okay, 6 M's of business. These are your resources. What's your management strength? What's your employee strength? What's your financial strength? What are the materials that you have? Okay, what are the machineries you have? What are the methods or technology that you have? Then, based on all of this, what's your objective? These are internal. You can control them. What are your strategies? These are internal as well. What are the policies? You can control them in such a way that you can use them to meet up with objectives. Okay. Now, this part is pulled directly from your notes. Okay. The external constraints. External environment contains what I said in the beginning: opportunities and what threats. While the internal environment contains strengths and weakness. That gives us the acronym SWOT. 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 So let's consider weaknesses and threats as constraints. Another word can be limitations, another word can be challenges. Okay. So when we say constraints, we're looking at a limitation which is out to prevent your business from achieving its objectives. So businesses must find a way around it to still thrive and survive. That's where strategy comes to play, because strategy is a word that comes from warfare. Okay, when I say strategy, you can imagine those movies, right? Those epic movies from ancient times, and they've acted to show how armies go to war, considering how their opponents are camped on the other side, while they on this side putting. Okay, are you getting what I'm saying, right? While they on their own side, they have their king. They draw a map that is showing where their soldiers are, where the soldiers that use swords are, soldiers that use arrows are. Okay, where there are mountains, where there are valleys, where the enemy is likely to come from, how they are going to attack from the right. If the enemy comes from the front, we attack from the right. Okay, all of these things are strategic issues. So that's where that word comes to play. So limitations, constraints are out, okay, to limit you. So I said here that the interrelationship between business and environment can be viewed from three different perspectives. Number one, businesses get all its resources from society. Number two, society has different components and they all have different demands. Okay, who said this cannot hear? Okay, and then business is within that same environment that has opportunities and threats. So you can just study this on your own, looking at it from four major perspectives. Okay, this one, the constraints from this, constraint from technology, constraint from political and legal constraints, and then economic constraints. I think this draws the curtain to a close tonight, so that in our next class we'll just jump into business objectives. Like we have said, we'll do a comparative study, compare them. What is the difference between each of the four levels of business objectives? Okay, it's almost 9:30, and I want to thank you for joining me tonight. If you have any question, please, the floor is open right now. Are you with me? Any question, please? Okay, so I can hear you say you're all good. Everybody is good. Nobody has any question. Is somebody talking? You need to be audible. I can hear your voice in the background. Can you hear him? I can hear someone trying to speak, but it's
Hello,
not
good evening,
speaking.
sir.
Yeah, this is a bit better. So go on. Good evening.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please, my name is the explanatory part of that question.
I can't hear you. I can't hear what you're saying. Maybe you need to stay still with your
Yes,
mouthpiece.
sir. My network was when you were
Right, go on. Maybe I'll
the,
try. Just go on.
the question.
PSTLE. Okay, go on. What is that you don't get from there?
I said that my network was when you
Oh, your
were
network was not good when I was discussing that part. Okay, I'll just discuss briefly from here only. Then you can read up the rest by yourself. Okay. I I said that the external environment has both a direct component and okay, good. Okay, I think I'm saying it. A direct component and an indirect component, right? So when I say direct, you have interaction, you have direct interactions with them. So those are the first. Those are the first ones I explained, and here they are number two. But now I went on to explain the larger or macro environment. Okay, so far studies have been able to group them into six, which some studies have different grouping anyway. But studies have been able to group them into six. First, P stands for the political environment. E stands for the economic environment. S stands for the social and sociocultural. T stands for technological. L stands for legal, and E stands for the ecological. So these are all different aspects of the external environment that you cannot directly lay your hands on, but it's affecting. It has the ability. They have the ability to affect the outcomes of a business. I hope you understand that now. Good. So if you go down, you find where there are a little bit of explanations or just a little bit of an additional breakdown of the things you will find in, for example, the political space, and the things you will find in the economic environment, and the things you will also find in the social cultural environment, okay, and the things you will also find here in the, what do you call it now, technological environment, and also in the legal environment, as well as the things you will find in the ecological or natural environment. I think that's pretty much everything I said. Although I broke it down further when I was talking, and I may not be able to go back there. So that's it. Any question, please? I hope you have answered you right. Hello, I hope I've answered you.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, please.
Sir, some of us have been having some connection problems, so I was wondering if we can get this particular note to use for the presentation, maybe through the WhatsApp group, so we can go through it.
Check your forum. You note I've sent this note from day one. Okay, so make reference to your forum. Your colleagues can share with you though, but always make reference to your forum. You will see, even in the announcement, in your announcement section, you will see a link to my notes. In the forums, you will see a link to the notes. It's the same notes that is there. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Yes. Any other thing? Okay, so I will have to close here and now so that I can stop the recording, and everybody should go and have a good night's